let's say vehicle price is 50 grand. Let's say the payment we're trying to close the customer at is the average payment these days, which is $743 at 72 months. Okay? Customer gives us pushback on the payment. I don't want to make no $743 a month payment. And my response is always the same. Joe, you don't want to, but you could, correct?
No.
Then we're on the wrong truck. We're going to have to find another vehicle. You could make the payment, you just don't want to, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. And by the way, the only time this doesn't work is if we have them on a vehicle they can't afford. Okay, if I can't afford to make the gross payment, this doesn't work. But I'm trusting that you guys are professional enough to put them on a vehicle that they can probably afford. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm going to say, look, Rick, I know you don't want to pay $743 a month. I get it. Payments are higher than they've ever been because prices of vehicles are higher than they've ever been. I'm sorry about that, but you didn't do it and I didn't do it either. However, what I'm going to say next is going to sound a little crazy. You are not going to pay $743 a month to drive this vehicle. You're going to pay significantly less. Okay? Sounds like a riddle, right?
Okay.
Look, everybody knows that this vehicle is going to depreciate. But what we know these days is going to depreciate at a slower rate than ever before. Hell, last year used vehicles went up 30%. But we can't count on that. So we know it will depreciate. But what not everybody knows, Matt, is every time you make an automobile or a truck payment, there is a savings element to that payment. Has anyone ever showed you this before?
Yep.
Where have you seen this?
From your YouTube videos.
Okay. So here's what I mean. Look, here's what you don't want to do. I get it. You don't want to write a check for $743. You don't want to sign the check. You don't want to make it out to a lender. You don't want to send it to that lender because, Joe, you think that lender's going to keep all that money, don't you?
Absolutely.
The lender's not going to keep all that money. Metaphorically speaking, a big chunk of that money's coming back to you. All right? Let me show you. Look, when you make this 72nd payment, okay? It's going to be painful, I get it. But it's a gorgeous truck, isn't it? When you make that 72nd payment, what comes back to you in the mail a couple weeks later?
Title.
Mm-hmm. And it's a free and clear title, okay? It's got Joe's name only on it, all right? Now, the question I got for you is if you drive this $50,000 vehicle like you intend on driving it, you use it like you intend on using it, but you don't crash it and you don't trash it, what do you think that vehicle's going to be worth in 6 years?
30 grand.
So, 6 years from now, you've got no payment. Okay? You've paid the son of a gun off. You've got a $30,000 asset. You got a phone on you?
Right at my desk.
Who's got a phone on? Ron, divide 30,000 by 72, please.
416.66.
Rick, you know what that $417 represents?
No.
Remember, you're going to send that 743 to the lender?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the way to the lender, $417 is flowing right back to your title. Joe, I told you the lender doesn't keep all that money because a big chunk of it is flowing right back to your title. So if we take 743 and we subtract 417, that's 6, 2, and 3. Rick, I said you weren't going to pay $743 to drive the truck. You're not going to. You're going to pay $326. You'll pay $743 to own the son of a bitch, but you will only pay $326 to drive it. Now I need your okay right down there.
But I'm still paying $743 there.
Oh yeah, you're paying $743, no doubt about that.
Oh, that's too high.
Then you got the wrong truck, my man.
You can help me out with at least you can get me down to $700.
I can get you down to 700 if you put down another $4,000. Okay? What do you want to do? Keep the $4,000 where you have it, or live with the 743, which, by the way, you quickly get used to. And remember,
I want to keep the $4,000 and have a $700 payment.
well, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
What's the interest rate?
The interest rate. Well, when you guys when you go out on the first pencil, have you pulled their credit yet?
Well,
No, we never pull their credit until we actually.
Okay, so
close the
we're
loan.
using a mid-range rate.
Right.
So we're using an average rate. If your credit's super, payment will go down. If it's not super,
Right.
payment will
That's
go
what
up.
I said.
Yeah, I mean that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Have you ever seen the payment in this light before, though? By the way, is this all true?
Yes, it is.
It's 100%
Again,
true.
if the customer can't make that payment, this doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, if they can't stroke the 743 gross check, we put them on the wrong truck.
Correct.
We put them on the wrong car. But if they can, then, I mean, look,
It justifies it.
I've done this hundreds of times with consumers. Does it work every time? Nothing works every time. The biggest objection I get is, you read my lips, I can't make the gross payment. You know, I work as a closer. When I go in dealership, I'm not picking somebody up at a meet and greet and walking them through the entire process. I go in to close when nobody else can get them closed. I'll have to, then I'm going to have to take them off the vehicle. The number one response I get to this is, do that again. Do that again.
What, this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They'll say, do that again.
Yeah.
This is absolute true story. I was at a Kia store a couple of Decembers ago. I was working for a friend of mine there, and I go in on this close, two attorneys, man and wife, and they were bitching about a $505 a month payment. Because, look, what percentage of people are leaving your dealership with the highest payment they've ever had in their entire life?
Almost everyone.
Almost every single one of them. So these people had never had a $500 a month payment, so they could make the payment easy. But they just had never had a $500 a month payment. So I went through this with them. I mean, they closed just like that. Half an hour later, I go back into the customer lounge to check out a football score. And they're back there waiting for F&I. Oh, this guy and his wife, they got a yellow pad of paper back there. They got scribbled on. The guy sees me, waves me over. I go, oh, shit. I go over there, and this guy goes, he goes, I tell you, man, we have taken your formula and attached it to every installment loan we have. He goes, our goddamn house payment's a negative number because it's an appreciating asset. I said, well, now, not everybody is that happy about it.
Right.
But it's a terrific way to help a customer say, what's easier to say yes to, 743 or 326?
326.
326. I had one customer say, what can I tell my wife? I said, well, you can tell your wife it's 326, but you got to let her know it's a net payment, okay? It's not a gross payment, it's a net payment. She goes, all right, I'll do that. These are little things that make a big difference. It's all about, and this is good. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, we're going to be asking people to pay more for cars and pay more per month for a car or a truck than any time in the history of the car business. And the more successful we are at that, the better off we're going to do. So we got to get better at our jobs. When I send you these videos, subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost a nickel.
Okay.
I mean, and
Like, share, and subscribe.
yeah, like, share, subscribe, and I put videos up every single week. I mean, a lot of them are Motor Trend videos, but a lot of them are pure negotiating and closing.
All right.